Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to share with you this book. It's called Safari and it is a photicular book. It's created by Dan Kanan and Carol Kaufman, and the difference with this book is the images move. So I did try to get the best view of the images that I could, so I hope you enjoy it. Introduction. My grandfather was an inventor. My father was an artist, and as a boy I loved performing magic. So I like to think that these photicular images are a direct result of generational influences, merging innovation, art and magic. Photicular imaging is an old technology. Lenticular or integrated photography done in a new way. Individual video frames are sliced into very thin adjacent strips to create one master image. On its own, it just looks blurry, as if all the images were overlapped. But slide a sheet of thin lenses over the master image and it comes alive in fluid, film-like motion. The beauty of an animal moving is another kind of magic that has fascinated me since childhood. The thrilling grace of a cheetah as it streaks across the grassland, the incongruous gentleness of a fierce-looking silverback gorilla quietly chewing plants, or the delicate gait of a young zebra trotting across the savannah. The Jungle Book and Man-Eaters of Kumaon were early favourites. As Carol Kaufman recounts in her essay, which opens this book, there is nothing more powerful than watching an animal in its natural habitat. That's why safari seemed like a natural fit for the first photicular book. For those unable to make the trip to Africa, I offer these images as a glimpse into the thrill of a safari and the astonishing sight of an animal in motion. Lion. African lion. Panthera leo. An African lioness crouches down into position, eyeing the unsuspecting impala. 4 of her pride mates, all female, spread around her in a loose horseshoe, their attention focused on the leader. The lioness gives a signal, imperceptible to human senses. She charges, though the impala has skills of its own and could conceivably outmaneuver one lion, it can't escape the pride. And therein lies the power of the mighty lion. Most cats are loners, but lions have maintained their dominance of the African animal kingdom by diverging from the solitary life. They've learned there is safety and power in numbers. The core of the pride is a group of related females, as many as a dozen. They help each other fending off strangers and sometimes even nursing one another's cubs. They occupy territories that can be nearly as large as the city of Los Angeles, passed down from one generation of lionesses to the next. You simply cannot miss a male lion with flowing locks circling its massive face. Male lions are the only cats with manes, which range from golden yellow, like their bodies, to a reddish auburn colour to black. A darker, longer mane indicates health, age, and strength. It makes the male more desirable as a mate and more feared as a competitor. Larger prides occupy choice spots, most often near rivers, where trees provide shade and cover for ambushes, and where potential prey come to drink. Big prides also have a better chance of successfully defending their territory. And protecting the realm is the fundamental goal of the cat kings. The first line of defense is the roar. It can travel as far as 5 miles and warns against occupied territory. Lions can count and will calculate the number of individuals in a potentially threatening group, weighing the odds of an attack. They also distinguish individuals. Recognizing whether the voice is from an enemy or a friend. Few creatures are foolish enough to take on a lion. The cat can take down a Cape buffalo on a good day, but when a pride's territory abuts villages, the cats may prey on domestic livestock. Farmers and ranchers lose food and income. Even children tending flocks, and retaliate by shooting or poisoning the killers. Even the king of cats is vulnerable to man. On safari, prides are usually found collapsed in a big cuddly heap in the shade. If not hunted, lions have nothing to fear and sleep most of the day. These hours of rest allow them to store up energy for sudden battle. Their readiness essential for the task of defending their turf. Gorilla. Western lowland gorilla. If you make a special, though not always safe, trip to Western Africa's remote jungles, you might get to witness a western lowland gorilla on its home turf, munching away on shoots and leaves. You notice an eerie familiarity, a humanness, for lack of a better word, that is startling and comforting at once. His eyes focus with recognition. His mouth twitches as he chews. His fingers deftly grasp blades of grass. Along with the other 3 great apes, chimpanzees, bonobos, and orangutans, the gorillas are our closest living relatives. That gorillas are intelligent is indisputable. Scientists have seen wild gorillas use plants as tools, a branch as a walking stick to test water depth and as an aid for crossing, a tree trunk as a bridge to ford a swamp. In captivity, gorillas have learned sign language. Like people, gorillas recognize each other and themselves by faces and bodily shapes. They anticipate the behaviors of others by reading body language. Mothers are tender with their young, affectionate and playful. They impose discipline with stern looks and warning grunts. They chuckle and scream. They smile. Keepers of captive gorillas say the apes express love, sadness, embarrassment, grief and happiness. And like a human fingerprint, the nose print of each gorilla is unique. In the wild, the largest silverback, the term for an older male with a grey streak down his back, is in charge of 3 or 4 female mates. They're young and a subordinate male. The silverback decides when the family sleeps, eats and travels. Gorillas don't have a fixed home, and each night they will construct a group bed by bending plants into a springy platform, where they'll sleep for around 13 hours. During the day, the family forages for food, climbing trees to get the fruits, bark, vines and leaves they love. When on the ground, they typically walk on all fours, with their back soles flat on the ground and the knuckles on their hands curled under. Knuckle walking, it's called. Great ape habitats have been steadily diminishing in the wake of increasing human population, logging and agricultural development, rising demand for bushmeat, and the spread of disease like Ebola also threaten the world's largest primate. Another gorilla subspecies have recently been declared extinct. When danger, usually in the form of an outside gorilla, does approach and pose a threat to the family, the silverback will protect them at all costs. He'll rise to his full height, roar, beat his chest, wave his arms madly. Gorillas aren't violent. Father gorilla means no harm. He simply wants the intruder to go away so his family can be left in peace amidst their beloved plants. Rhinoceros. Black rhinoceros. Cantankerous, volatile, aggressive, downright grumpy. You do not want to stare in the face of the hairless, primitive-looking black rhinoceros on the way to its watering hole. If something or someone disturbs its solitude, it could very well lower its head, puff out a good snort, and charge like mad. Despite its bulky appearance, the rhino can reach top speed quickly and deal its victim a lethal stab with its famous horn. Horns, rather. Black rhinos have 2, but it's the prominent front one on the tip of its nose that has given the animal trouble over the years. As far back as the 16th century, the horn has been used as a cure-all in traditional Chinese medicine, including as an antidote for demonic possession. Today, hornbits are boiled and used to treat fever, gout, rheumatism, and other maladies. Recent studies have disproved the usefulness of the rhino horn, except, of course, for the rhino. The prized rhino horn isn't actually a horn of the traditional hard-shelled variety. The cone-shaped protrusion is composed of keratin, the protein that also makes up hair, fingernails, and animal hooves. It becomes translucent when carved, and its luster increases as it ages, making it a coveted material. As a result of this demand, the black rhino has been hunted nearly to extinction. The great white hunters targeted rhinos as one of their big 5 prizes. Poachers took up the quest when the horn trade became more and more lucrative. Just in the past 40 years, the world rhino population has been slashed by more than 90%. The catastrophic decline has finally levelled off, largely because nearly all surviving black rhinos were corralled into fenced sanctuaries in the 1990s. The rhinos' daily habits make shooting them rather easy. They stick to a defined territory, meandering between their water source and the trees and shrubs they eat. Adapted for grasping buds, leaves and shoots, the black rhino's lips are hooked, forming an upside-down triangle. This feature distinguishes it from the slightly more abundant cousin, the white rhino. The white rhino, which has a square-shaped mouth and grazes on grass. Despite their contrasting names, both species are actually grey. Unlike the white rhinos, the black rhinos, especially the males, roam alone, except for their constant companions, the oxpeckers. Steadying themselves with sharp claws, these starlings perch on the rhino's thick hide and eat ticks and other disease-causing parasites. The birds also act as sentries, compensating for the rhino's poor eyesight by crying out if danger approaches, so don't get too close. The zebra. Pony size, with soft, expressive lips and the sweet gaze of a child. A baby plains zebra is instantly familiar. If you know horses, you will quickly recognise zebra postures and behaviours. Ears up means listening and alert. Snorting means unsure, scared. A kicking back leg is a sign of aggression. Stamping can mean impatience. But the stripes really throw you for a loop. The patterns and whimsical swirls of a zebra's stripes are as individual as the swirls of a human fingerprint. Why did this animal evolve in this visually delightful way? To camouflage itself from predators is a natural guess, but black and white stripes are more beacon than cloak on an open grass-covered plain. More likely, the stripes are there to confuse predators. When a herd of zebras runs in various directions, individual bodies blur, making it harder for a lion or hyena to attack. Zebras often walk in a single file line, appearing to be one very long animal. They sleep standing up and often next to each other, but facing in opposite directions. A lion on the prowl might think twice before pouncing on a giant U-shaped mass of swirling lines. The unique patterns may also help zebras recognise each other. Zebras stay together in a harem made up of a stallion and as many as 5 females and their foals. Males compete for mares, not territory. After a female first comes into heat, she stays with the first male to mate with her for life. She will join his harem, assuming the lowest position on the proverbial totem pole, enduring hostility from other jealous mares. When her foal is born, she'll bond with the foal alone, shooing all others away until baby can recognise its mother's smell, sound and sight. Zebra families from herds of tens of thousands. It is in fact such herds that lead the Great Migration, the annual movement of some 200 million wildebeests and other ungulates across the Serengeti ecosystem. The zebras mow down tall pastures for the wildebeest and gazelles, which prefer shorter grass. As the savanna sentries, zebras often alert other animals that danger is near. Their excellent eyesight allows them to spot faraway predators, and if other migrants see a group of zebras all staring or running in the same direction, they'll follow suit. If zebras walk into a forest, other animals know it's safe. Zebras can smell lions that are more than 5 football fields away, especially if the lion's sweat glands are exposed and the wind is blowing zebrawards. Like so many safari animals, zebras are vulnerable to one inescapable threat. Poachers want their meat and their famous swirled skins. Their protective trademark feature also makes them a hunter's prize. Elephant, African elephant. Perhaps this elephant is mad. Flapping ears can mean get back. More likely though, it's just cooling off. An African elephant's ears, which can grow as big as 21 square feet, contains a complex pattern of blood vessels. When the elephant snaps its ears, its blood temperature can drop as much as 9 degrees. On a blistering day, there's a lot of flapping. The trunk too comes in handy. Elephant pals greet each other with hugs by slinging the appendage over an ear or shoulder as a utensil. The trunk can suction water and squirt it into the mouth, or at an enemy with a force great enough to kill a human. The mighty trunk can uproot an acacia tree that gently picks up fruit the size of a garden pea. Elephants use it to insert food into their mouths much of the time. They spend up to 3/4 of their lives eating. Elephants don't digest the cellulose that makes up most of the plants they eat, so they must shovel in anywhere from 220 to 440 pounds of food a day. Operating a trunk, though, is not instinctive. Babies don't know how to use one and will flail theirs wildly until they get lessons from mum. Older females dominate the elephant world, with a matriarch leading a group of younger females and their calves. Adolescent males take off for bachelor herds or roam on their own. If safe and well fed, an elephant can live to a ripe old age of 70, dying only because its sixth and final set of teeth have fallen out and it can no longer chew enough food to survive. Elephants communicate constantly. The famous trumpet call means that the animal is scared, excited, or feeling playful. The trumpeting is merely one expression of the elephant's highly complex communication system of sound, smells, and physical signs. Using either larynx or trunk, elephants cry, squeal, roar, scream, bark, rumble, groan, grunt, and snort in specific inflections to convey messages. When the matriarch emits her trademark rumble, the herd knows to follow. Noisy staccato blasts mean potential danger. Quick, circle the young. Angry, rumbling roars might mean a friend needs attention or is hurt. Scientists have identified more than 70 types of elephant sounds, though we can hear only about half of them. Elephants can detect infrasonic vibrations from as far as 2 miles away. Some elephant signals we can smell. A male ready for mating emits a dark liquid down his cheeks like tears, giving off the whiff of a sweaty teenager. Gestures speak volumes too. Bodies rubbing together seems to offer assurance. Biologists who've studied elephants for decades recognize about 160 signals that elephants make. Still, much of their subtle language remains a mystery. A gazelle, Thompson's gazelle. A Thompson's gazelle is rarely alone. Like other hoofed animals, they understand that safety is in numbers. Tommies congregate to discourage predators. Where gazelles go, so do serious hunters. Lions, leopards, hyenas, jackals, wild dogs, baboons, crocodiles, and in particular cheetahs. Those that prefer to isolate a single target animal before expending energy, so the gazelles stick together. Highly attuned to sounds, movement, and smells, the gazelle reacts to any bigger creatures that could pose a threat. When danger is detected, a single tommy needs only stamp its foot to declare the herd should flee. Even when dispersed over significant distances, gazelles can recognize one another. Black tails waving across white rumps like metronomes sitting atop a piano signal, "Here I am, a fellow tommy." Lightning-quick movements are their forte. The tommy leaps seemingly weightless and with 4 feet coming off the ground at once. The motion, called stotting or pronking, advertises health and seems to discourage predators. During the chase, the gazelle zigs and zags with graceful agility to evade the fast cats and succeeds about 50% of the time. Even the speedy cheetah will tire and the tommy with more stamina will run on. Easily identified by the black stripe running from shoulder to flank, the species is the dominant gazelle on the East African plains. During the Great Migration, they move in herds up to 1,000 strong, keeping company with the wildebeests and zebras, giving birth and feeding on the short grass plains of the Serengeti, then hoofing it north to the taller grasslands and green pastures of the Masai Mara during the dry season. They've adapted to graze on grasslands or browse on the shoots and leaves of bushes, thus increasing their ability to consistently find food. The plants they eat usually provide the moisture they need, and tommies can go without drinking water for longer periods if they must. You will frequently see one tommy running in circles around a group of smaller tommies, like a herding dog. These are the males attempting to shepherd loose groups of females and their young into territories they've marked with scent gland secretions. Despite the male's best efforts, the females pay little attention, clustering in groups of up to 5 to 50 animals of their own choosing, and drifting among territories claimed by different males. The females are, however, particular about their young. Babies lie on the open plain, the grass naturally camouflaging their cinnamon coats. Mothers come often to nurse their babies, but when they go off to feed themselves, they rely on the security that other females offer by their very presence. The giraffe. First the right leg swings forward, then the left, right side, left side, with an easy looping gait like a camel. The world's tallest mammal ambles across open African plains. Chances are it's searching for a tree. The giraffe spends over half its day foraging, mostly on the leaves of the acacia trees that are scattered generously across the savannah. Head perched on the world's longest neck, the giraffe noses into thick leaves and buds, winding like a slinky around branches to get into a feeding position. The neck has surprisingly just 7 vertebrae, like our own back, but the giraffes are connected by ball and socket joints with a 360-degree range of motion. If its stretched neck doesn't give a giraffe quite enough reach, it can also stick out its nearly 2-foot-long tongue, coil it round choice branches, yank back its head and devour the moisture-filled leaves, satisfying both hunger and thirst at once. When a giraffe does need to drink, the animal flings one leg out, then the other, and bends down into an awkward straddle. As it dips its 25-pound head down between splayed legs, its complex vascular system stabilizes its blood pressure. Without this mechanism, the giraffe would pass out or suffer a stroke. A giraffe is vulnerable when drinking in this nearly upside-down position. Lions know this, so do the savannah's other carnivores like leopards and hyenas. Such predators are the reason more than 50% of young giraffes don't grow up. Mothers, their legs longer than most humans are tall, give birth standing up, and baby falls some 5 feet to the ground. The newborns stand for the first time within hours, already some 6 feet tall. 10 hours later, they're running, growing up, literally as much as an inch a day. Sociable creatures, giraffes lope around in loosely formed groups, spread apart as far as half a mile. Though the coats of animals and a single herd tend to resemble one another, no 2 giraffes wear exactly the same pattern on their short golden fur. Although giraffes may look relaxed, they can outrun a lion, buffalo, or hyena with their rabbit-like hop. They also have a secret weapon, hooves the size of a serving platter, and a swift kick that can be deadly. They still fall victim to poachers who sell their hides, meat, and tails, prized as a good luck charm and as fly swatters. Even a giraffe can't outrun a gun. Sparring between adolescent males is the only form of giraffe aggression. The two stand side by side and swing their heavy heads into each other's chest and shoulders, an action called necking. The winner will likely have access to more females as he roams the plains, searching for the next acacia tree. And that's the end of this book. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me again soon for another video. Thank you for watching. Bye.